Hi everyone, welcome back to TGO podcast. This is episode 2. Today I am joined by a lovely friend of mine, a woman of many ideas and talents. All around wonderful human being. Her name is Chev Smith, and we call her Chev. But I'll let her introduce herself. Chev, hello, welcome to TGO podcast.
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. So my name is Chev. What do I say about myself? I am a aspiring musician. I've been a chef in the past. I was a chef for 8 years, but now I'm branching out and I've just started like a new course in music production and technology. So that's my main focus at the moment.
Sounds amazing.
Thank you. It is. It's great. I love it. I'm enjoying it so much because it's what I actually like to do, and I'm not just slaving away. But yeah, and so I want to use music to inspire people, and I want to use music to communicate my ideas that about growth and about acceptance and all these things that to bring about wholesomeness. I want to use music to help heal people, to let people know that they're not alone. I will be authentic in my music just so people can actually understand that there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So that's what I want to use music to do, to connect with people.
Well, I'm really excited that you joined me today. So are you still like a part-time chef, or you've moved on to
No, I'm
music?
trying to move out of the kitchen, so I'm not working as a chef anymore. I'm working as just like I work for an agency that it's pretty random, so I don't really want to be a part of the chefing culture anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just so I can have more time for self-development, like we're going to talk about today. So yeah, I find that like in the kitchen you don't have time to like really think about yourself or really do anything in the hospitality industry. So yeah, that's why I left there. But yeah,
I have tasted Chev's food. It's amazing.
oh, thank you.
And she's very good at, presentation. It's the key. She does all this. I was like, I want the food. She's like, no. It needs to look
They're
good.
always waiting, and I'm just like trying to put everything. Then it's like we just want the food, and I'm just like, it's not what I'm used to.
So, Chev, why this topic? Why self-development? I mean, I know a little bit about you, but obviously the listeners don't know, and I've seen so much growth. From the time we met, maybe 3 years ago?
Yeah.
From the time we met and now, there's been so much growth that I'm seeing.
Thank you.
And so much, you look so much happy.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with that actually.
Yeah.
3 years ago when you met me, I was in the worst place ever. Like I was completely depressed. I didn't know how to get myself out of that depression. I kept trying to find help in therapists and stuff, but nothing was helping. And this is where my self-development journey actually started. I was like, either I'm gonna, I don't know if this is trigger warning. Either I'm gonna kill myself or I was just gonna there was no way I could continue living. Let's put it that way.
What was causing that? I mean, where did that come from?
A lot of build-up of stuff. I feel like through the years of going through life and trauma, I'm let me tell you who I am as a person. First of all, I am a very positive person. I like to focus on the positives of life, and I've realized actually through therapy that this is like a coping mechanism. I don't like to see the bad because I feel like I cannot deal with the bad, so I avoid the bad. I run away from the bad. I push it under the carpet. But sooner or later, all that bad shit that you've been pushing away, that you see these people who are the life of the party. I've always been told I'm the life of the party, but prior to my breakdown 3 years ago, I'm always trying to make sure that everyone is feeling good. I like to talk a lot. I like to make people feel good, but within me was like a war going on that I just wasn't ready to acknowledge, and I wouldn't even admit it to myself. I was just I'm not feeling this. I would deny all my feelings all the time. Any negative feelings I had, I denied it. First of all, I lost my mother at a very, very young age when I was 12.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. But and things happened before my mother passed away that affected me, and the way I saw the world, let's say. But still, I kept trying to, because it's natural of my personality to see the positive. So even the memories that I have that hurt me the most, I've had to sit and explore those in the office of a therapist to understand why I'm feeling certain ways, because they just weren't in my memory anymore. I didn't register them, even though I should have.
Did you have therapy quite recent, or is this something that you had?
I've been having therapy since I was 19 constantly. Like, I've seen 7 different therapists, some of them really good, some of them not so good.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
I'm 26, so like
6
7 years of therapy,
yeah.
And now I'm finally feeling like I'm coming out. So I knew there was something wrong all those years, but I still wasn't ready to address the wrongness, and I still wasn't ready to see all the negative. I just wanted to see the positive. So I thought like the main thing was that I lost my mom, so that's why I sought therapy. I was like, I lost my mom, and even to tell you a funny story, when I lost my mom in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And then a year later,
are you from Jamaica?
Yeah, I was born in Jamaica, raised in Jamaica till I was 12 when I lost my mom, and then my dad. I was actually 11 when I lost my mom. I was about to be 12. It was 3 months before my 12th birthday.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 12. My dad said for me and my brother to come move here in the UK with him.
Yeah.
And funny story, this is my coping mechanism. This is like, so it's not even funny because like when I first moved here, I used to pretend that my mom was still in Jamaica, and that I would just be like, oh, my mom didn't call, like, and this is 12-year-old. I had all my senses.
So
I knew she wasn't there.
Up this
so I had this image of her being at home, and I'm like, oh, she just didn't call, like she's a bit. And it's crazy because when I think about how I used to imagine it, I knew she wasn't there anymore. I've been to the funeral, I've seen everything. But to cope with it, I was telling myself this story, and this is how I've always dealt with pain. I don't like to see pain. I don't like to feel pain. But pain is a necessary part of life. Pain brings growth, and I'm learning to better my relationship with pain through self-development, through acknowledging the parts of myself that that do not serve me. I think that's the most important thing about self-development, is looking at the parts of yourself that don't serve you but are natural to you. And so self-development is really, really, really difficult, because you have to sit with yourself and pick apart all your flaws and you have to be very, 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 very honest with yourself, more honest than you've ever been for self-development to work.
So 3 years ago, when did you start going through the whole self-development process?
When
started it? Yeah, what started it? Of course, you just mentioned you're going through a really dark time.
Yeah.
So when did it click or occur to you, like, listen, now is the time for me to start looking after myself?
I think because
essentially that's what it is. You need to stop, to stop being selfish.
Yeah.
I think that's another word can be another word for self-development. For someone like you, always looking out for other people, always doing this for other people, making sure everyone's fine, but forgetting that you're not looking out for you as well.
Yeah.
So I think once you stop and then you start looking out for the one person you should, which is yourself, when did you start doing that?
I think it's like you said, when I realized,
because I didn't notice anything wrong with you when we met. You seemed really happy, you seemed really cheerful. I knew obviously like the situation you're in, it didn't look the best, but it looked like you're making the most out of it.
Yeah, no one would have guessed how depressed I was, and how many no one would have guessed the place that I was in, because like I was always just like. And also check on your positive friends. I just want to say that, like, check on your friends that are always there for everyone, that are always the life of the party, because people have shit going on and you would never even fucking know. Like, trust me, I can't stress that enough. So it's not just the people, like, check on everyone. Check on the people you care about, first and foremost. So yeah, luckily I had people in my life. I'm so blessed. Like my friends, the people closest to me, like, they have gotten me through hell and back. I am here because of them for sure. And luckily I had people who were constantly checking in, who I could be honest with, who I could actually say where I was at, and they understood. withstood me.
Yeah.
I think just to have that one person is.
I think
is enough.
one person.
Yeah,
If
so
you
I
have
had that
more,
one
that's a
person.
blessing.
Yeah.
But if you have one person, I feel like everyone needs that one person to just go back.
And don't make that person a romantic partner, because that doesn't. This is what got me in this mess, right? You keep you broken people look outside of them to fix, and this is the wrong. It's the wrong. Don't go into a relationship. Don't do that. That's gonna work. It's gonna backflip and it's gonna mess all your. No, don't do that. But
essentially, I feel like if you're opening up to someone, say, and then you become romantically involved, it's like leverage.
Yeah. I do think actually, because I wasn't whole when I'm in a very loving relationship now, and it's really been really it really helped me with my self-development, because my partner is also the same with self-development. If you meet someone and you're broken, right? I'm not saying that everyone has this thing about you should love yourself first, and I agree, because self-love comes with respect, and then with self-respect there's things that you won't allow people to do to you, because you can set boundaries, and that's why self-love should come first. But it doesn't always have to come first, but it takes like really strong people with really strong intentions of growing together, because I didn't love myself when I met my partner, and she's taught me how to love myself. Through her but that was because I was ready to change. I was ready to develop. I was so ready to.
Would you say you were in a place to receive that type of love?
Exactly. I was ready. I was ready to receive it. I was ready to do whatever it took, whatever work it took to look at my before. If I had a fight with a partner, I would always blame them. It's not me, because like I was scared to deal with my issues. I was scared to deal with how I would run away from stuff or whatever. So now, as soon as a fight happens, I'm like, oh shit, how is this my fault? Like, I'm taking my half of that.
Yeah, you're already looking at your responsibility.
Exactly, yeah.
How much did you contribute to this fight? So what type of work have you done that has, led you to this new person that I'm looking at?
It actually started with looking at my personality type. I'm going to talk a lot about the Myers-Briggs personality type.
What's that? Yeah, tell me about that.
So, okay, the Myers-Briggs personality type, some people may know it. It's very popular. They use it a lot in workplaces to see who they want to hire, like some corporate positions. A lot of people use it to see the sort of people that they want to have in their workspace and how the team that they want to build. Because I studied psychology very briefly. I did like a foundation year because I thought I wanted to do it in university, but ended up not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where I was first introduced to it. Two psychologists, Catherine Myers and her daughter something Briggs. Forgot her daughter's name. But yeah, so her and her daughter, they came up with this from Carl Jung, who is also is like a pioneer in psychology.
Yeah.
Who they looked at his studies and they created this typology test, which is not a go by. You don't have to think that it's gonna tell you exactly who you are, and like we were discussing earlier, life experiences and stuff changes that stuff. So it depends. There's a whole big spectrum in these personality types, but
would you say it's like the star sign stuff? Or it's different.
It's quite a lot like horoscopes. I think the thing is I've always been obsessed with like psychology and personalities and stuff, because just trying to figure my own head out. This is why I always thought I was interested. So I've read a lot of personality stuff this is where it started. I wanted to understand my personality, because for me it was so difficult, because I feel like I have two people inside of me. I have the self-destructive person that is always trying to hurt me, and this continues this negative, and then I have this angel voice that is just like, okay, we need to fix this.
It's like I'm watching a movie from the words you say, when like the devil.
Literally, that's where
do it, and then
that's where they get it
do
from.
it.
But like, I mean, it's real for me. It's real. Like, I have a voice that's telling me I should kill myself, that I'm useless, that all this, and this is from low self-esteem and low confidence. Let's just get that out there. My self-esteem was on the floor. I had no self-confidence. I didn't like myself very much, and so this voice was super strong.
When I met you, honestly, you seem so confident.
Everybody says
maybe something rubbed off Maybe I rubbed off you or something.
I think people feed off of each other as well. So like when you meet someone that's very confident, you kind of feel more self-assured. But I didn't have any confidence. And the thing is, a lot of people, usually older women, see this light in me, that this is what stands out to me, that I knew I had to keep searching for this light, because I met like a few older ladies, and I'm talking about in their 60s, and they'd be like, there's something about you. There's just something about you. And I'd be like, what?
Maybe you give them like a platform to have these conversations. Sometimes that could
possibly. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe no one's listening to them, and then you listen to them.
Yeah. I love talking to people, and I love discussing, and I think...
So, was that part of your journey, as in initially, because we're just touching on the personalities.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I got this.
It's okay. I had to bring you back.
Thank you. Yeah, keep bringing me back, because my mind works in like... everything is like this is a part of the ENFP personality, right? We have like they call it the Christmas tree mind. It's where everything is lighting up, and I can go into this, but I won't go fully into it. But everything is lighting up at the same time. We have a lot of ideas going on at the same time, and it's not just the ENFPs. There's the ENTPs also, which is like, I'm gonna describe what an ENFP is.
What are these letters?
Let me explain a little bit. So
I don't know.
ENFP is an extroverted, intuitive, feeling perceiver. So extroverted, you probably heard introvert, extrovert. So you can either be all these letters or either one or the other. So E, I'm an E, there's an I that to the E, and then N, there's an S, which is a sensor. So the intuitive person is a person who sees ideas. Someone who sees this, let's say this glass, and they don't only see a glass, they see a musical instrument. They see something that they can tap and They see ideas. They don't just see things for what they are. For a sensing person sees things for exactly as they are. So this orange is just an orange, like they don't it's just an orange.
It sounds
you can't do anything else with it. Yeah, exactly.
Or you can open it and eat it.
Yeah, exactly. You can open it and eat it. They're very practical. They're very like hands-on with what we have here is what we see. Whereas me, I get carried away with all the ideas and all the things that things can be. Like I see possibilities, endless possibilities.
Yeah. Is that in people in general, or is it
in everything? Okay. In life. This is why this personality thing helped me so much, because I knew myself to somewhat, and I think everyone thinks they know themselves, but you don't know yourself. Trust me. You need to seek and find who you are. If you haven't done any digging,
where would someone go to do that test or to take that test?
So if you just type in the Myers-Briggs personality test, it will come up, and the first one is Personality Cafe. That's a really good one because they don't charge you, because some of them charge because it's a corporate, like a lot of offices and stuff use it too. But I think that's...
I'll leave a link in the description if anyone's interested.
So, okay, then we got to N, which is the intuitive, and then F or T, which is a feeler or a thinker. So feelers, I'm a feeler. Like I am, ENFPs are like known as the most... I read a lot of blogs about like this personality stuff as well, and so I know blog spaces, they always like stereotype ENFPs as the people who love unicorns and feelings and all this stuff. So we are feelers. We're strong feelers. That comes from, I'm not going to go into the functions right now. If we want, we can talk about this later if we want. But anyways, I'm talking about the feeling. This is the ideas coming in. Anyways, different conversations coming in. Anyways,
I'm so sorry, guys. This is like all over the place. She's crazy. I should have warned you in the beginning, but anyway, we're here now.
Okay, so F or T. So the T means thinker is a person who doesn't mean that thinkers don't feel, which I have thought in the past, because like I have met ENTPs and they are great, they're amazing, we bounce off each other, but like they can seem quite cold, and I'm really intimidated by people who are really cold and don't show their emotions. But I've learned that that's not the case. Thinkers feel just like anyone else. It's just I'm a bit more expressive with my feelings.
Yeah,
but we feel the same way. Obviously, all human beings do. Thinkers are more. They think before they speak. Let's say, like whereas
most of the conversations and responses are calculated.
Yeah, exactly. They calculate everything. Thinkers think about. They're calculated. That's
I would say I'm a thinker.
Yeah. I want you to do the test because I've already started thinking about what personality type you are. And I think
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so thinkers, and then there's the perceivers or judges. So perceivers are a bit like all over the place. This is why I'm me. But I've learned to love myself because like I feel like I felt so misunderstood in the world. This is why also like I feel like I've had to go through self-development to try and find my place in the world. I feel like not many people are very open, not many people are very emotional, not very people are very like ENFPs are known as the children of the childlike ones of they forever stay children. And I recently met my partner's mother, who's also an ENFP from doing the test, and I can contest to the fact that she's like a child, but in such a beautiful way, not like a childish way, like in the fact that she radiates this energy of just like, comme si comme ça, life is as you take it, go easy, don't worry, as long as everyone's happy.
Is that similar to how you live your life?
Of course, this is what I believe in. Like, I believe we are so too serious.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. That really puts me on the edge. I just feel like everyone needs some sort of structure.
Yeah, you're a J, I think. So J's, on the other hand, they need to plan from today, the next minute, what's gonna happen. If you go into a J's bedroom or something, everything is organized. Like my partner is a J. Like this is what we learn from each other. Like I think there's good balance is good. So there's no P's right, J's right. I'm a P, she's a J. And we really balance each other out because I'm like, okay, you need to relax about this. I'm too relaxed. She's like, girl, you need to get your shit together. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Like I need to start. She like now since I met her, I'm making lists. I'm starting to plan better, and I see that it's so beneficial for me,
But that's amazing. So
that's a part of my self-development.
So regardless of your letters,
exactly.
So I'm gonna say letters because I don't know anything about this. Regardless of that, can you adopt?
This is what I wanted to get to. So self-development is about understanding your strengths and your weaknesses and working on your. So I know that I'm not a natural planner. I'm not, but you need to. Don't let anyone tell you what you need to develop. You decide what you want to adopt for your personality, right? For yourself.
Something just came into my brain right now. Like what you're talking about essentially is like, I don't know if you remember in school, uni, whatever. Do you remember the SWOT analysis? Chat. Your strength, weaknesses.
No, I never did this.
Opportunities and threats of. So when you're analyzing a company, you look at their SWOT. So you look at their strength. You look at their. And you did business for Elizabeth. What?
No, I didn't do business. I did economics.
What they should have covered. So,
I mean, I barely went to school. I barely went to class.
Anyway, it does, and that's how I'm trying to apply.
Okay.
What you're telling me. So basically, you would look at the business or company, whatever you're covering for that module, whatever. Mm-hmm. You would look at their strength. You look at their weaknesses. You look at their opportunities, and look at their threats. And then obviously it's like you make an analysis, you come to a conclusion, blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then you give like a judgment of what they should do next in order to either further strengthen their.
I would say then that's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the business. This is terrible of me.
No, but no, you can apply. If you can apply it to a bit. This is the thing though. Businesses. Yeah. Why is that so hard? Businesses, they have this structure in place to make sure that everyone. This is why they do personality tests. Like they do them in corporate so they can understand where to put people, what their strengths or what their weaknesses are, how to help them develop their weaknesses. Because you shouldn't just go, oh, I'm just not organized and that's my personality type and I accept that because that's who I am. Or I'm an extrovert, so I need to dominate all the conversations. Because I've learned that I'm an extrovert and I dominate conversations, I look for my introverted friends and I push them a little bit to not even if they don't want to, it's not like but I allow them space. For example, if I'm just one-on-one talking to an introvert, I will check myself when I can. Like sometimes it doesn't, because it's not natural to me. This is the only thing, it's not natural, so it's hard for me to slow down and realize that okay.
On that note, so now we've gone through you doing the test, what was the next step after you found out what you are, that your personality traits and the letters that you fall under? I promise you I'll do better research on it. I'm just for this purpose now, I'm just gonna say letters. But after you found out what personality traits you have, what was the next step? Because obviously now you're on a journey. What did you do next?
The next step. So this was like, I'm gonna go year by year, because the first year I just obsessed over my personality, which is a good start, but it's not gonna get you like.
Quick question: do you think once you've done that test, you kind of lead your life based on that test?
This is the thing. Yeah, you can become a stereotype of that test. Like, so I think don't take it too seriously. It's just a rough guide to see your preferences, let's say, but it's all. People think that you're stuck with one personality type. You can change and become any person. The human, what I started learning in my second year of self-development was the human ability to learn and develop is endless. Neuroplasticity. I was introduced to neuroplasticity by my partner, and she's going to do her second master's in cognitive behavioral sciences. So literally it works so well. My self-development, the fact that I'm into self-development and she's into this position of helping people to understand themselves. It wasn't just the personality test. I needed something else to understand, okay, this is me, who I am, or who I am on paper.
Yeah.
This is who I want to be, but how do I get there? And understanding neuroplasticity and understanding the fact that you can learn and develop any skill you want. It takes time, it takes determination, it takes discipline. It's very, very hard work, but you can learn anything you want. For example, I always wanted to be musical. Like, I always wanted to learn an instrument, but when I was younger, I was just never introduced to music.
Why do you think that? Is it because do you come from like a poor family?
Yeah, I come from a poor family. Okay. Like I've never, like, I used to envy people so much when they go, oh, I've been doing piano since I was 3. I used to be like, fuck you. Like, I always wanted someone to put me in front of a piano when I was 3. Like, yeah, I hate it. But anyways, my family did the best they could with the resources they could, and I'm so thankful for like everything they've done for me, and like the fact that like I can now look back and appreciate how far I've even come without the resources is even more for me. So then what am I going to do? I didn't learn an instrument when I was 3 years old, but what am I going to do? I gave up on myself. I just was like, okay, I'm never going to learn an instrument. Right now, I'm learning piano, and I'm doing very well at it. Like, actually.
You did say you're learning piano. Virtual learning?
Yeah.
What?
On Zoom, a friend of mine who's like amazing
possible?
godsend. Yeah, he saw that I bought a piano, and I was like just posting on Instagram about it, and he's like, oh, I actually teach piano, like if you need anything, let me know. In lockdown, he's like, I'm not working, so I don't really have much, so whilst this lockdown thing is, I can help you as much as I can, sorry. And I'm like, okay, cool. And yeah, he's been giving me lessons like once every 2 weeks on like piano, and he's like, one of my thing is like, when I need comfort for self-development, especially, I read. So I started reading this book called Guitar Zero, which is about how adults can learn. Because like there's this myth that adult learners, like of course children learners are gonna be better than adults in everything, because children are already in a place of learning. They're learning everything, because they're learning how to walk, talk, So if you put more stuff in front of them, their brains are developing.
I still feel like as an adult you have the potential to learn as much as you want.
For sure.
I feel like you just need to be a little bit more open. Because I think as an adult you get you're content with what you know.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Children are explorers. This is why you need to adopt the mindset of a child. And this is what I did with piano. I started exploring it. The thing is, as adults as well, we build, after a while your ego builds, and then you feel shit when you're shit at something. So you try it, and then you're like, oh no, this is not for me, because your ego is telling you, your ego doesn't want to do anything that tells you that you're not good. So if you're doing something and you're failing at it, your ego already wants to stop. So this is the thing with adults. We only do things that we already know we're good at. So we're too shy to start new things, because too afraid because we think we need to know everything.
Rejection, afraid of failing.
Exactly.
We always want to come up on top.
Exactly.
Not knowing to get to the top.
This is the ego, and this is what I learned in self-development as well. You can use it. I thought I needed to kill my ego. Ego death is not where it's at, because your ego is a part of you. You need to love your ego. You need to start feeding your ego something different. So now I feed my ego with self-development. I pride myself in being a learner. Even if I know that I'm not great at something, I know that I have the ability to learn, and that's where my sense of pride comes from. And your pride is what your ego feeds on. So anything you can feel proud of is what you will feed your ego. So don't feed your ego on being right or being the smartest or being the fastest. Feed your ego on being someone who will.
I feel attacked.
The natural ego is to want to be the best. I'm not the best. One day I might be, but I'm gonna learn.
My ego literally just. I'm so prideful.
I
have so much pride.
But feel different pride. That's it. You don't have to stop pride. You don't have to stop being proud of yourself. You just have to.
I've actually recently learned to just like maybe it's okay. It's fine.
Exactly.
I tell myself like it's not that deep. Like
exactly.
It's fine.
It's literally not that deep.
Like I find myself like I try not to speak out loud, but in my head I'm like, no one's coming at you.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Like take it easy, or ask someone else for their opinion. Like, what do you think about this? Do you think they mean this? And then be like, oh, it's nothing. I was like, oh, okay. I think I'm reading into this too much.
Yeah.
I need to relax.
If you can have someone to talk out to, talk out,
yes.
then do it, because in your head it just gets messy.
Okay. I think it's also important to not let your ego get in the way of your self-development. I suppose check yourself. Yeah, I think
definitely. I think checking yourself is one of the it's the hardest part of self-development. It's the most important part of self-development, is to keep, like, I write down my flaws all the time, and like when I do something, and I think this is why relationships are so important to me. And my friends always used to say to me, like, because ever since I was like at least 20, I wanted to be in a serious relationship, because I knew what I wanted for myself. I wanted to learn and develop with someone for when I have children. I knew that I had this timeline for children, but anyways, that's out the window. I'm gonna have children when I have children. But I knew in my head, like, I've been planning for children since I was like, I don't know, 13, since I was a child, let's say.
What?
Yeah, people plan for marriage. I plan, like, I raised my nephews, so like
those type of things have never
since I was 9, I was taking care of my nephews, and I saw that I was just realizing as a child that like parents can really mess up their kids. I was thinking about how my parents messed me up involuntarily. They didn't mean to do it. They messed me up in many ways, and I kept thinking about this as a 13-year-old or whatever. I was thinking, when I have children, I'm not going to do this. When I have children, I'm not going to do that. So I started living my life as when I have children, and this is where my self-development actually started. Was when I have children, I'm going to be so whole that you're always going to mess up their life in some way, right? You're not going to be
You
perfect.
wouldn't want to pass on like all the negativity.
I don't want to keep the cycle going. Like,
Yeah.
I see how my dad always tells me how he was hurt, and
Hurt
how,
by what?
and
By
how,
what?
by his
what you guys-
parents,
okay.
by his parents, and then without even knowing it, he put that hurt onto me, and he and it continues. It's a cycle. It's always so I wanted to break the generational cycle, and I've been thinking about this for a long time.
What do you mean by he put that pain onto you? How did he project it?
How did he
project the pain onto
instead of when you are hurt,
you
hurt people. That's for sure.
Oh, okay.
So when you are hurt, you don't know how to accept love. You don't know how to. My dad. Now I can love my dad because I learned how to love myself. I couldn't love my dad before. We couldn't love each other. Now that I love myself, I'm realizing that my dad is like me as such a person. And
you have to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I had to have a conversation with him, and I had to. We had so many misunderstandings. Like, I don't want to go too much into it because like I need to have a further conversation with him to talk about.
You're on the journey with him.
Yeah, my dad is a very private person. He's not like me. I was always brought up in a household of don't tell people your business. It's a Jamaican thing, so I don't want to go out there and say. But our relationship is getting better, and I feel like I'm very proud of myself because I took the first step to make sure that like instead of saying
you approached him.
Yeah, instead of saying. No, I forgave him. I didn't approach him. I sat with myself and I forgave my dad for everything he ever did to me.
So was this sitting yourself down and figuring out some of the things?
Yeah,
is this towards the last 3 years what you've been doing?
Yeah, this has been a part of my self-development. Is realizing that part of the self-development is realizing that you lie to yourself. You lie to yourself about situations to protect yourself. So I had to relook at all the situations that hurt me. I did this with a therapist. I didn't just do it on my own. Like, I had a therapist, and we went through situations where I thought, like, I never thought I would be able to forgive my dad. I thought my dad was a horrible dad. I thought he hated me. I thought this and that. When I started reframing these incidents or whatever
that happened to you,
I started to realize that my dad was. I wasn't able to pay attention to my dad's hurt. I wasn't able to see that he is a man and men especially don't get to hurt in this world. Like, my dad has been through so much that he hurts. He did his best with us. He hurt all of us because he was hurting, but he didn't know. He did his best.
He did what he knew. Clearly, from what you just said,
no one taught my dad how to love. No one taught him how to love. I taught myself how to love. My partner taught me how to love. I'm trying now to teach my dad how to love. I'm trying to teach him that it's okay. And I will tell him every day, I love you. Because my dad never really used to say that to us. Now he started saying it. Like, my dad will now text me and be like, my baby girl, I'm so proud of you. I never expected this from him. Like, we always had this kind of distant relationship where he was cold. He had to be cold to prove that he's the parent and he's strong and blah, blah, blah. Now now that I've opened up to my dad and I call him and I just say, Dad, I love you. You're my hero, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, when I first said it to him, he wasn't expecting it. For example,
I think it throws anyone off that has never used those type of words, like in their everyday conversations. It's not something you'd say at the end of conversation. You say, "Oh, I love you."
Exactly, and I think it's a Jamaican thing as well, or Caribbean thing. I don't know if they have it in other cultures as well, but I definitely noticed in my culture that when I went back to Jamaica, I was hugging everyone because I've been away for 10 years, and but people were feeling uncomfortable with a hug. It was awkward to hug my grandmother because she wasn't expecting it. Like, we don't hug. I never had someone hold my hand as a little child and go like, it's okay. We don't have that. We don't have that gentleness. So, like, as a kid, bear in mind, I've always been this emotional. I've always been this sensitive. My dad is exactly the same as me. Super sensitive, super emotional. I get it from him. And no one has ever said like, you matter. You are okay. Your emotions are valid. Like, how you feel is valid. No one's ever looked at him and been like, it's okay to hurt. So
but maybe also there's no platform for you to express how you feel. So that can go unnoticed. So you're always having to fend for other people, especially if you have kids. It's like your most important thing or responsibility is like making sure the kids are okay.
This is where I've learned to actually forgive my dad. He did an amazing job with what he did. Yeah, he couldn't sit there and make sure all my emotions were validated. Yeah, I felt like I was unheard or invisible or hated or whatever, but he was doing his thing. He was trying to do the best that he could for his family. And once I understood that and could reshape it from not being the hurt child, I healed myself, and I was no longer the hurt child, and I was able to forgive myself. Once I stopped the hurting, I was able to forgive my dad, I was able to see him for who he was, with his own struggles, his own issues, not with the expectations of why did you do this to me, or why were you not there, or why did you not do this. To see that he had his own issues that he was dealing with. Like me, I'm 26. My dad had me when he was 25. Me and my brother. He already had an older daughter. Like, how the hell do they do it? Like, I don't understand. Like,
it seems like a lot of work, to be fair.
I couldn't have a kid right now because I'm not ready. This is why I'm developing myself. This self-development is important because I've always wanted a family. I love children. I grew up raising a lot of nieces and nephews and cousins and whatever, and I've always wanted children. So my focus was to find a partner, find a relationship that I was ready to work with. And this is why I think relationships are important. Relationships force you to face your inadequacies.
I think that is also reason why some relationships might maybe fall apart because
people aren't ready.
If
you're not ready to grow,
someone can force you to see the sides that you don't want to see, and then you're not ready to deal with.
What you will do is blame it on them. No, that's not me. That's you. And you will keep going, and you will keep realizing the same patterns in every relationship you go in, because the issue is you and you don't want to face it. So when people hold the mirror up to you, you're like, no, that's not me, that's you, that's you're doing that. And it's like, no, this is why self-development, I think any relationship, if you want that relationship that's going to last the long term, self-development
So
is
would
important.
you say for anyone that wants to get onto a journey of self-development, they will somehow have to involve therapy, or is it something that they can do individually?
I think therapy is amazing. I think therapy is great.
Yeah.
Do I think you need therapy? No, I don't think. With the resources that we have these days, I think you can, if you're determined enough and willing enough, you can find the resources to help guide yourself. If you can afford therapy, I would 100% recommend it, because what a therapist allows you to do is you're paying them to look at your problems, so you trust them that they're going to give you the word I'm looking for, unbiased opinion, right? Because that's what you pay them to do. So if you're telling your friend all your problems, you know that your friend is
maybe also come to a conclusion about something that you weren't really certain about. Like they can help you with that.
Exactly, and you know that they have been they're qualified for it. They've been training for it their whole life, so you trust them. So at least I did when I sat down in the therapy. But they're not gonna. It's not a magic potion that they're gonna. And you're all okay. It doesn't work like that.
Abracadabra.
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing in this life works like that. This is why I'm here talking about self-development, because it's hard work. It's not like you just.
So apart from therapy, say if you can't afford therapy or anything that requires you paying for, what other tools? I mean, I quite think reading is a really good tool.
Reading
It's
reading
really
is
great
one of
self-development.
the most amazing tools for you, for people to develop themselves. For me, let me recommend my favorite book ever that I read. It's by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And that book, I read that book 2 years ago, because I have like a timeline of when self-development. So I keep putting my fingers on the desk like so at the beginning of the second year.
She's running a timeline.
I read Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it changed my life.
What is it about?
It's about breaking the habit of being yourself. It's about how you can. He's a neuroscientist.
Yeah.
And he talks about the links in the brain and how you can, like, it's basically cognitive behavioral therapy in the book, and with meditation. So there's a meditation that you follow, and you learn how to change your thoughts, you learn how to change your behaviors, you learn how to change your habits, you learn how to create new habits, better habits. You meditate on you meditate to break the chains, basically.
Yeah.
And for me, that 100% helped me get the ball going in developing. And then he has another book, Becoming Supernatural, which is a bit more heavy, but it's worth a read. But yeah, definitely start with Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Is an amazing book that I read.
I'll add it to the description with the link as well that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. So, next step. What did you do?
So reading, meditating. Obviously, I meditated. I don't think.
What's meditating?
Meditation.
Yeah.
Oh, meditation is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I didn't start liking it until lockdown. Actually, like I started doing it more often. Meditation is something that the more you do it, the more it becomes rewarding. It feels like pain. For the first year, I hated it. I was like, why the fuck am I sitting down? Things you can walk and meditate, you can sing and meditate, you can.
Do you have to speak positivity or think positive?
Forms. Yeah, mantras help for me, anyways. They help. So, okay, this is my meditation that I'm doing at the moment. I'll just walk you through it. So, for 20 minutes, I set the timer for 20 minutes. Before it was 10 minutes, even 5 minutes. When I started, I did 5 minutes, because what you need to do is build the confidence. Don't set yourself 40-minute meditation, because many people do that and it's extremely rewarding. The more you can do, the better. Trust me. Like the more 20 minutes is my sweet spot right now, but I want to do 30.
Essentially, it's saying if anyone wants to start meditation, they have to baby steps. Start small.
Start with 2 minutes. Even 2 minutes can feel like a long time. Do 2 minutes of deep breathing. Just into your belly, and I
Do
feel
you
like
have
I
to
need
say that to
listen
yourself,
you.
or do you have to play
Yeah,
something
you can
in the
say it. You
background?
can say it. Play a nice. Spotify has this playlist. I don't know. Can we talk about?
Yeah.
As a playlist called Healing Frequencies, and some of them they last for 30 minutes, some of them 9 minutes. They tell you what they do, heart chakra, whatever you feel like you need to. There are frequencies. Music is healing because there are frequencies that heal, that actually move us. And I won't go into that, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's actually music heals. So you put whatever frequency you want on, and then you sit. And the most important thing is, I'm going to talk to you about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system.
Mm.
So the parasympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. It's always busy. Especially if you live in London, you've always got it going. You breathe in. If you do like a few deep breaths, what you do is
it's like a deep inner, deep from your belly.
And what that does is it goes through your body and your mind, and it sends a message of calmness to your sympathetic nervous system. It tells it to take over. So your sympathetic nervous system takes over from the parasympathetic, because your breathing is no longer shallow. Fight or flight, survival. What are we doing? What are we thinking about? What are we gonna? So what it does is it stops you. Like in this moment, in this interview, I've been in my natural. Oh, I'm an anxious person, so I'll start with that.
Yeah.
I've suffered with anxiety my whole life. Another book, The Meaning of Anxiety by Rollo is one of the best books I've read. Anxiety has a purpose, and you can learn how to use it. So
is that a book that you've recently read? Or?
Yeah, I read it this year. It's amazing. Really, really good book. In fact, you can even just search The Meaning of Anxiety on YouTube, and people talk about it. Is it like an
audio? Oh, and people just talking about it?
Yeah, and it's good. Just a good start, because it's really good philosophers and stuff that talk about this stuff. Anyways, so I'm a naturally anxious person. So at the start of this interview, I was really, really fast. I'm a little bit more calm now, because like I've taken some deep breaths and stuff. And I still will always talk very fast. I'm very animated as a person. This is who I am.
It's not a bad thing.
But I want people to understand me at the same time. So this is where I don't want to be. I'm proud with how I speak and the fact that I'm animated, but I want people to get my message clear as well. So that's important to me. So I stop, breathe all the way in, slowly out, and you feel your shoulders rise, and you feel them go down. And already I feel it.
I was just literally
gonna
say that.
Even the sound that's coming out of your mouth, you feel calm. Like even just realizing that your shoulders are rising and going.
I think also just slowing down from a busy day. Just take a moment, take a few deep breaths.
2 minutes of meditation. Just start with that. Trust me, you will see. And now I'm doing 20 minutes, and I'm really proud. Okay, so let me talk to you about my 20-minute meditation. So, for the first 5 or so minutes, maybe less, I don't count them, I do deep breathing until I feel calm. So sometimes I will do alternate nostril breathing, which works for me because I like to have a physical to see that something is happening. So I put my 3 middle fingers, as in the middle finger, the index finger, and I put them in between my forehead, and then I use my pinky finger and my thumb to close both my nostrils. And then what I do is I take whichever one, I take my pinky off, breathe all the way in through that nostril, hold it with both,
This is such
and
amazing
then
stuff.
Breathe out with the next nostril, and it's called alternative nostril breathing. So you do, and then you go with it again with the next one. It fucking works magic. Like it's anxiety. If you're
I'm literally amazed.
Anxiety, panic attack. I used to have panic attacks all the time. I go to the toilet. I go at work. I go in the bathroom, and I.
What do you think causes panic attacks? Or like
automatic negative thoughts. So ants. It's been. I forgot who came up with this theory, but ants is a thing. Like automatic negative thoughts. When you are, this is what I learned from the. Breaking the habit of being yourself is
that from the book?
The book, yeah.
Okay.
You have habit triggers, so your automatic. Let's say my whole life, I've gotten into the habit of making things really bad. So if I spill this water, it comes from your parents. If you spill this water and your parents are like, oh my god, you spilled the water, oh my god, it's gone all over my shit, and da, 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 da. Or if you have a parents like, oh no, you spilled the water, oh no, okay, we don't clean that up, blah blah blah. Then you adopt that and you're like, so as soon as you do something, you panic and you're like, oh my god, I fucked this meeting up, I did this, I did that, oh my god, I lost this, and this is my automatic, this is how I go into. Once I do something bad, I panic.
Isn't that fairly similar to like PTSD and stuff like that?
Of course, yeah, it comes from PTSD. Yeah. PTSD, it's connected. It's trauma. This is why self-development is important, darling, because you break down the PTSD, you break down the ants, and you see what's going on, and you see.
I kind of think like we all have like little childhood traumas.
Even if it's nothing big, it doesn't have to be. You didn't witness your fucking childhood friend getting
murdered or something.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be nothing big. You could just be traumatized from people screaming at you all the time just because you spilled a glass of water, because they don't know how, because parents are not perfect and they don't know, they have their ants and they have their automatic way of dealing with stuff, and they put that onto you without you knowing, and you're in a hostile, you're a kid. I saw a video on TikTok actually yesterday that was saying about like parents, how you react with your kids is very important, because you're a kid, right? When a child is crying and screaming, if you start then like stressing at them and be like, you need to stop, oh my god, I can't deal with this shit, blah 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 blah, then what you need to do when someone is crying, especially a child, is make them feel safe. So if your child is screaming, don't try to get them to stop screaming, just hug them, hold them, let them know they're in a safe environment, because then they will, the frontal lobe of the mind is what disconnects when people are panicking. So it doesn't, and that's where empathy and emotion come from. So they can't understand anything you're saying. Like when they're not hearing anything, nothing is coming in, because they're just in the back and they're panicking. So once you hold them, you allow them to engage the frontal lobe, you allow them to calm down. Okay, darling.
Are you supposed to like speak to them and?
No, just hold them. Just hold them until they're calm. Once they're calm, then you can speak to them. Okay, darling, you shouldn't have spilled the glass of water. Okay, that was really bad. You spilled it all over mommy's work, and mommy's really upset. They can understand now. Oh shit, mommy's upset. I'm sorry. Or like, you know.
Yeah, but you have to understand that can be very difficult. Like,
of course,
I think that would take a lot of learning.
That's why self-development is important. This is why I want to develop myself to become the best parent. I don't think it's gonna happen out of the blue. I just know that if I'm not gonna have children until I'm confident I'm the best that I can be for them. Like I know that there is a model of a great parent that I can be. They're never gonna be perfect. They're always gonna find some issue. But I want to give them the best chance. I want to be the best support of them. I want to be the calmest. I'm nowhere near ready to have a child yet, because I'm just at the start of my self-development journey. In 5 years' time, when I'm ready to start a family, I will be ready. I will be.
So, say people that are already, they already had kids, or they're already in better situations, and maybe a situation they're better than they've had before. What would you say is the first thing, maybe in terms of self-development? What advice would you give them? Would you say maybe awareness that is the first thing that they
find a book on? If you're already a parent, people need to understand that you need to learn to be a parent. It doesn't come naturally to us. You have to find the resources that speaks most to you. Self-awareness, of course, comes first. That's the first step of realizing that I'm not getting the ego out of the way, and realizing that I'm not doing the best job I can be doing, and accepting that. That's the first step to changing anything. You have to sit. Ego doesn't accept nothing, so you need to sit aside from the ego and go, okay, I'm not doing the best job. My child keeps getting affected by me freaking out or whatever, and I want to do the best for my child. Okay, great. Now you find the resources. I'm not a parent. I don't really know. I haven't really been I've been working on developing myself as a person, not as a parent yet. When I get to like a couple of years before I start planning children and stuff, I will start reading more book on parenting if I feel it's needed. If I feel that I'm confident that I'm gonna be able to manage with my children and stuff, like I will be fine. I will see where I'm at. I think it depends on how you are willing to work and how you are willing to.
Okay, so fast forward to now. This year, lockdown.
How
did you survive lockdown?
lockdown was a blessing for me. Like honestly, lockdown has changed me so much. Like I'm sorry, like everything happened with COVID and stuff, and I'm sorry about the situation in the world. And many people lost their jobs and stuff. I lost my job as actually but so financially I wasn't good, but spiritually, oh God, like lockdown allowed me to reconnect to myself. So I started meditating.
Wait, so how did you survive financially? How were you surviving?
Well, I mean, I'm a student, so I have student finance too. Like I was just working to make extra money.
Okay.
So it wasn't really affecting me that much. It was just like inconvenient because I had plans for this year that I wanted to spend my money on that I didn't have the money anymore.
So you had to dip into your savings.
Yeah. So yeah. No savings. I mean, I had to use my student finance for what it was actually meant to be doing, was just paying my rent. Which before I was gonna use it to like do other stuff. I've been buying instruments and all this shit, like music and stuff. So my studio has had to be put on hold. I haven't got my drums yet. I don't have space for drums anyway, so it works out fine. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
So at the start of lockdown, I realized I had a lot of anxiety, and my favorite thing in lockdown has been to I got gifted this 1,000 piece puzzle from someone, and so I started doing puzzles and podcasts. It was
puzzles.
My favorite. So I sit in my corner and I do my puzzle and my podcast. It was literally my favorite thing because anxiety goodbye. Like when you're doing a puzzle, when you're engaged, like of course it's there in the beginning, but once you start getting really engaged with the puzzle and trying to figure out, it's amazing. Like I bought 3 other puzzles after that, but then I was like, I can't keep just doing puzzles and puzzles and puzzles. So then I started running, and I realized I always made an excuse for not being able to get up early enough to do.
What time what's running? When did you start doing running?
So I run every day without fail. Wow.
In the morning.
I don't run on Monday, Tuesday. I don't run on Saturday.
So you run every day, but not every day.
Not on the weekend. Okay, I run on every weekday. Let's say. That's true.
Every other day.
Every weekday for sure, without fail. I get up. Before I was working a job and I was working like 6 o'clock. Well, I had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning, so I was like, I'm not gonna get up at 5 to run. I did sometimes, but then I didn't like it and it was horrible and it was winter. So I do think the fact that lockdown happened at the beginning of summer helped as well, because now I realize that I never thought I was a runner, but I actually love running.
I think running's like a hobby, okay? Like
no, I hated running.
It can't
Just
become
me,
a hobby.
I was against running, but what I even learned through breathing is that running can be enjoyed. Before I wasn't breathing properly when I was running.
Something I learned from a doctor of mine during one of those checkups that you get like every year or every other whatever. He said running. So he asked me, do you run? And I said yeah. He goes, oh, you have really, strong muscles. So females, running is really good for your muscles.
Yeah. I feel like I already.
When I say muscles, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's probably.
No, honestly, that's what he told me. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll keep running then. Though I've been really lazy in this period. I've actually just the whole quarantine lockdown. I've become lazier, like in terms of exercise. Yeah, because I'm always active. Like I want to go to the gym, do this, and
but don't you have time to do it?
I did try, and in initially when we were in lockdown, I tried running, I tried boxing, I tried weights, I tried everything, but I got bored. I just got bored. I was just like, running. I'm busy. I have work anyway.
Yeah, do you know what? It comes down to discipline. I think. Discipline. I didn't want to run every day, but I told myself as part of my self-development, I wrote down my self-development points for the month. I have them every month. I have what I want to focus on. So discipline, because discipline was the weakest part.
Is that
me.
like
so I use that in everything. So
is that like writing down small goals?
Exactly. It's like writing down small goals. I write down on one page. I write down my negatives, the things I don't like, and then on the next page, I write down what my focus is gonna be for this month. So as part of discipline, one of the small things that I even did was like, whenever I felt like anxious or something, I would do like just 10 press-ups because I wanted to build my muscles a little bit as well, but I just never had the discipline to keep going. Blah, blah, blah.
I think discipline is really hard, like especially if you have other things that are more of a priority to you. because I think that's one thing I struggle with. Like, I'm very disciplined with other things, especially with work, with getting my life together in terms of what I'm looking at. I want the house clean, I want this. I'm very disciplined in that. But when it comes to things like, set up a goal, like you have to do this every morning, which is wake up and run, which I'm trying to work on. Because recently, since last time you came here with your partner, I had a conversation with her about yoga. And I actually wrote it down mentally. Mentally wrote it down. I was like, I need to start yoga. And I've been trying to wake up in the morning, have like a little yoga. I've had days where I'm just like, okay, I've fallen off now. Tomorrow I'll try again. Like, I'm trying to do it every morning, but it's very difficult. I feel like, again, it's fairly similar to doing meditation, starting small. So I missed that. Immediately I went in with 30 minutes, not knowing,
don't do big, do small first. Because it's big. You can't do 30. I don't think you can go in and do 30 minutes of meditation because you feel stupid. You just like, all these thoughts. Your brain is so accustomed to like just thinking all the time that you need to. Now I'm so proud of myself that I can have 10 minutes of no thinking because I'm always thinking, I'm always on the go. So when I get excited for my meditation now, I'm like, okay, brain, time for a break. Okay, let's go. And the thing is, why I do 5 minutes of breathing is because it calms you down and it allows your brain to like slip into this trance-like state. So I don't know, there's something about it. It just doesn't really appeal to me. I think maybe because I have moments of I think too much in my brain, and I have moments where I just switch off. I'm in my bubble. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just like, it's like brain dead, just chilling. But then that should be fine for you.
I suppose that could.
That's kind of like meditation. You kind of just you don't do anything. You just sit there and you don't think about anything. And for me, it's a relief because it's like when your mind is constantly going, like thinking all the time. It's like it becomes super exhausting. And this is why I think I suffer with anxiety and low mood swings and stuff, because like you can't just be on the go all the time. You have to take some time to like refresh and breathe. And the more I meditate, the more I'm realizing that I need it. I need the time to just like stop, to slow down, to also one thing that's happened since I started meditation is your insight becomes brighter. You understand things. Things start making sense more, because when your mind is chattering away, meditation allows you to listen to your soul. I fully believe that your soul has all the answers.
You know, one thing I also realized, how you can easily distract yourself. So you could be thinking about one thing, and then you think about another thing, and then you think about another thing, and then you lose track of what you initially wanted to, think about, write down or something. You're like, oh, where was I? And then you're lost, and then you give up because you're lost.
Exactly.
So it's really important.
That's my mind. You just went into my mind, and then you literally, like, sometimes I laugh at myself. But the thing is, I can talk about all this stuff because I know that like I have a goal to be better at this stuff.
Yeah.
I have a goal that I don't want to be the scatterbrained ENFP or with the Christmas tree lights. I want to be able to calm my thoughts and to be able to, because I feel like I have important things to say. I have important things to get across to people. So my biggest part of self-development, the biggest thing I need to develop with myself, let's say right now, is to learn how to calm down.
Is that something you picked up during the lockdown, or?
This is something I'm realizing in the last few days, actually. Maybe the last...
Really?
Yeah, like literally now, like I'm realizing that.
I mean, I know that you're really, an extrovert person. Like you're very chatty. You're here, you're there. You're like, you can fill a room, honestly. So I think it's really good that you have come to this.
Yeah. I think I realized when I was on holiday a lot as well, because I just couldn't relax. I couldn't chill. I was still thinking or planning or talking or and I was like, okay, relax. I was meditating. I was trying to do this. I just couldn't slow down. Like I realized that slowing down is really, really important, and this is what my goal is going to be now. Because like I don't think I'm anywhere near there, but like slowing down.
So as we're closing, just last question: would you think you can I think sometimes it can be quite confusing. I think maybe something I've experienced. It can be quite confusing having like a career, and people think developing a career is self-development, forgetting to develop themselves. You think it's like really good to, you know, as well as much as you're developing your career, don't forget to develop yourself.
I think you need to separate them first of all, for sure. And if you are not your best self, no matter everything that you're putting into your business, it's just going to be, this is why people burn out. This is why people, you think you can go full force on a business idea or a project or whatever. You can't until you deal with yourself. For me, if I started a business now, I would crash and burn because I don't know how to slow down. So if you can check yourself and be the best version of yourself and learn how to develop yourself to become the best version of yourself, then you can put everything you need to in your business. It starts with you being, whatever you do, first of all, always think about yourself as yourself comes number one before anything, before relationship, before business, before your children, before everything. Then you can give, you can't pour from an empty cup.
True.
Right? You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to first find the wholesomeness in yourself so you can give it out, so you can shine your light, so you can do all this stuff. I intend to shine my light. Is my light ready? No, because I need to work on it.
I think another really good thing that people, I think I even heard you mention it today, maybe not on the podcast but somewhere else, having something or someone to look up to, especially if you're not the type of person, because I'm actually not the type of person that looks up to people. Some people's actions or things they've done, they inspire me to do things, but I don't have someone that I really idolize. I just don't like giving that much power to someone, so in case they do something that I see as negative, it really affects the image that they've created in my mind, or the image I've created in my mind about them. So it's really good for people that should maybe have something to look up to, something to follow in terms of self-development.
I think for me, for sure, like for me, being an extrovert, I think introverts and extroverts are very different in many ways, but as an extrovert, I look for myself in the world. Which this is why I like to connect with people, because if I can understand you, I can understand me in some way, right? I think compassion, I lead with compassion because I understand that for me, fundamentally, I understand that what I see in you, I can also see in me. Whatever you can do, whatever your potential is also my potential. We are all connected, first of all, as human beings. So if I can see someone doing something, for example, my biggest inspiration, J. Cole, if I can see him do something, I know that I can do it, because he's no more special than me. Does he have more fingers? Does he have more, does he have something special about him? He's not
just
a god.
Another, exactly, that's what, just another human being.
I don't idolize people. I look up to people. I know that, like, if I did, for example, I've studied him to know all the hard work that he put in to get where he's at. He didn't just become. People are talented, yes. People learn their talents and mold their talents. You can learn your talent and mold your talent just in any way. This is why self-development is important, because you can develop any skill you want to develop. You can become, even if you're not the best rapper, you can become the best rapper from learning. Like, even J. Cole says it in his songs, like, I mirrored your cadence, I studied your style. He's talking about the people who came before him. He wrote down, he used to write down people's rhymes to, like, see how their patterns and stuff. And I did the same thing for him, and now I think I'm a good rapper. I'm a okay rapper. I will get better in 5 years time. I'll get better in 10 years time. But I can see myself because of J. Cole. Because people, this is the thing. This is what community is all about. Nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. We cycle and cycle as people.
That is so true.
We just keep people. Martin Luther King made a path. Someone else can follow that path. Rosa Parks made a path. Someone else can follow that path. Obama made a path. Someone else can follow that path. We can follow. And this is how we develop as a human race. We have to develop together. People think technology is coming up, and we have all these technologies that's doing all this stuff. If we don't develop our consciousness, our psychology as a human, and we do that by helping each other. We don't do it by separating and blah blah blah. We do it by learning from each other. We do it by admitting our mistakes, and we do it through self-development. If we allow technology to become faster than us, that's a whole other story for another day. But
it is. But yeah, anyway, in closing, like, what do you want people to take away from this? Just, keep it short and sweet.
What do I want? Short and sweet. Girl, you know I don't do short. I do sweet, but okay. No,
I want it short and sweet.
Let me do it short and sweet. Okay, short and sweet. What I want people to take away from this, you can become whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to be within the laws of physics and whatever standards you hold yourself to morally. You can become the best version of you. You can look to people who you admire and you can emulate them, and you can find the skills to become as good as them or even
especially
better.
In this day and age, like,
course.
we all have access. No, I mean, when I say
Yeah.
there is now, it's easier to access different materials and different tools to help you develop yourself or access things that probably 10 or 20 years ago further on you couldn't have access to that easy or that fast. So yeah, that's the end of episode 2.
Thank you for having me.
No, I'm happy you came. I'm so glad. I was really surprised that you were up for this. So so thank you guys for listening to TGO podcast. I actually just wanted to mention there's a lady that reached out to me on Instagram and she wanted me to mention her business. I'll get some details and add them onto the description if you can just check her out, or I'll just add it onto this. So thank you guys. Do follow us on Instagram. It's TGO Podcasts. On subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's good. Or TGO Podcast. Thank you. Bye bye.